G'day guys, Ross here and welcome to my shed, my greenhouse. I don't have a greenhouse, however I do have a potting table and I've used it for the first time this year. 7 or 8 weeks ago I did a fairly dodgy video, not to say that this is much better, but on that video I was talking about how to take a potting mix and to improve it so that you can get a good start for your seedlings. I put some seeds in the ground and I said we'd come back and we'd revisit those to see how well they'd done. And today I'll show you exactly how they're doing and I'll take you through a few tips and tricks and a mistake or two I've made, and with any luck that's going to improve your gardening as it has mine. Alright, let's go. Alright, so we can see here that we've got some really nice, fairly established seedlings here. Now, 4 things that I want to give you as a takeaway from today. The first thing is when you see these gardening shows and you see the people with the nice labels, they have those labels for a reason. I forgot to do this because I was in a hurry and I didn't actually have any labels and I didn't even think about it. And now I'm sort of partly regretting that. Now, a label doesn't have to be anything special. I just use icy pole sticks, pop them in the ground, write what it is and when you planted it. If you don't have enough room, you can just put like an A or a B, and then you can have a piece of paper that says A equals such and such a plant on such and such a date. So that'll tell you what's coming out when it does come out of the ground. If nothing comes out, you know when it was planted, so you say, well, geez, that was 4 or 5 weeks ago. If a seed hasn't come out by now, it's probably not going to. Now, having said that, at the back here, you can see in this particular pot, 3 of these pumpkins are all coming up at once. This is like, you know, that's daddy pumpkin, mummy pumpkin, and baby pumpkin. Now, they all got planted at the same time, and yet they're coming out at very different times. So they don't always germinate together. They can take a while. Seeds can take 2+ weeks, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks or longer. That was probably 6.5 weeks. It's probably been out of the ground 2 or 3 days. So make sure you do your labeling. Now, I'm lucky I kept the seed packets, so I do know what these are and these are. What I don't know is what my tomatoes are. So I know what type of watermelons I got. I know what type of pumpkins I got. I don't know what sort of watermelons I put in the ground. Now, I have a feeling it was a tomato that I had for lunch. I took a few of the seeds out and I sliced the rest up, put it on a sandwich. That's great, tasted good, so I'm hoping whatever I get does taste good. I've had a lot of self-germinating tomatoes this year as well, so it'll be a bit of a mystery salad. Now, second thing is, if you're in a situation like this where you've got a potting shed and you're basically relying on a window to the side, that's sufficient light for seedlings, that's fine. These ones here will go in the garden very soon. They'll need more light, but for the moment it's sufficient. But you'll notice that they're all leaning. Now, I've already rotated these once today. These all got rotated. Now I'll rotate them again. I'll rotate them away from the light. And really, within a few hours, or certainly first thing in the morning, they'll be pointing back out towards the window. So I'll rotate them once a day or so, and that makes sure that it don't grow bending over. So they grow over with like a hunch. Third thing is important. Make sure you're keeping the water up at least every 2 days. Water from the top because they have small root systems on them. Now, if you've got a good growing medium, it will wick water up from the bottom to a degree. So you can see in this one, I've got some water. All of these had some water this morning, but a lot of it's actually been wicked up by the growing medium. So, you know, these things won't get too wet, but they also won't dry out either. Having said that, the watermelons this morning were actually quite dry, even though they've been wicking a bit of water up. So you can do that, especially if you're going somewhere overnight. Put a bit of water in there and make sure that they're clean and healthy. Okay, that was the main things. Now, the last thing that I wanted to cover off on is that you've got to be cruel to be kind. You're always going to put in more seeds than you need because you don't know actually what's going to grow. You know, you might have a failure. You might have an entire packet of seeds just not be any good. So with the tomatoes here, in every one of these, there was at least 15 seeds. And I've gone through today and I've thinned most of those out. When they're small, even though they're growing right next to each other, the roots are intertwined, but because they're so small, you can just pluck them out and they won't hurt anything. Once they start getting bigger, maybe a little bit bigger than this, once you start pulling them out, the roots are bigger and potentially you're going to damage the plants that are left. So you pull out the smaller ones and you damage the ones that you actually want to keep. Now here I've got the 3. I'll probably take one of those out. I've just got 2 there. They're both looking quite good. 2 there, 2 there, 3 here. That one may go. I'll just see how it goes in a couple of days. Now they've actually had their roots disturbed, I'll give them a few more days to see what thrives and what doesn't. But to give an example, amongst my butternuts here, now you can see that that's a healthy plant, that's a healthy plant. This one here has got yellow, it's stunted, it's got one small leaf. that's simply going to come out of the ground. That's it, and that'll get thrown away. That's not a healthy leaf plant to start with, so why continue when I've got plenty of others? I've got, I don't know, probably 15 other pumpkins. So if the rabbits don't eat them this year, I might actually get some pumpkins. That'll be good. So that's your takeaways, and hopefully, as always, I've given you a few tips and tricks to improve your gardening. As always, thanks for your time. Appreciate you spending a few minutes of your day with me. All the best and enjoy your gardening. See you later.